All right, 301, I'm going to go ahead and get started. Hi, my name's Heath. I am the support personnel here at Patient Safety, and I've started doing these webinars as well. I'm joined by our project manager, Amy, who, if there's anything that I can't answer, she 100% will know it. So any questions that you may have at the end, please save those for then. Any questions that you have, others probably do too, and we'd love to get those answers for you. But to get started, we're going to be going through a decent amount today. I'm going to start with the resources available to you as a patient safety customer. I'm going to then move on to downloading from the SleepSat high resolution pulse oximeter using the SatScreen Connection Center. Next, we're going to go into the features of the SatCloud web portal. We'll be watching a patient video pretty quickly, and I'll be making some comments on that. And lastly, I'm going to be showing you some of our new software called Daphne Sleep, which can really help with the process of sleep medicine in your practice. So to get started, I'm going to go to our website, sleepsat.com/resources. And here at the top, you're going to see our SleepSat how-to video series. That includes everything that you're going to need at the beginning, how to use the SleepSat device and how to get the connection center installed on your computer, all the way to a little bit more advanced stuff of reading the reports. Quick little commercial. If you're not already signed up for our SatScreen report webinar on the 17th, that's going to be going through some features of the report and case examples. And I would really encourage you going to that, just because the more comfortable you are with the report, the more comfortable you are going to be passing the device out, and the more patients you can help with this technology. So moving on from our video series, again, we've got some links there that could be just easier for you to find what you need. But we also have some documentation on the reports as well, which when you combine it with the videos, you can get a really good idea of how to read the reports and how to effectively use them to screen and titrate your patients. Next, we have all of the publications that can be found here that we've either assisted with or we've been highlighted in. And then here at the bottom, we have the guides and manuals for both of the devices that we support, both the SleepSat 3D high resolution pulse oximeter and the Konica Minolta 300i. Depending on whatever device you have in your office, I would recommend going through these guides and manuals. They will help in the use of either device. You can also find our best practices document here, and we'll be going through that a little bit later as well. All right, so that's the resources page. We find that that can be incredibly useful, which is why I want to highlight it first. But at this point, I'm going to move on to how to pull a device off of the SleepSat unit and create a report. To get started with that, I actually have a little graphic. We're going to start with the device off. And then I'm going to hold down the power button for 3 to 4 seconds until the device turns on. Once the device turns on, it's going to go through 2 screens. It's going to say the version number of the device, and then it's going to say probe off. And that all that means is that the probe is not connected. So mine now says probe off. Once it says probe off, you're going to go ahead and plug it into your computer. You should have just heard the connection USB sound right there. Once it's connected, so we turned it on, and then we waited for it to say probe off. It should only take about 5 seconds. Then we connected it to our computer. At that point, I'm going to, I don't think you can see this yet, but I'm going to open up the SatScreen Connection Center. I'll drag this over here. And once the Connection Center is open, you'll be able to take a look at the SleepSat itself, and it should start counting down. A little bit of my internet is being taken up by Zoom here, so it's taking a bit longer than normal. Here we go. But as you can see, it is now syncing. And you probably can't see this in the webcam, but on the SleepSat itself, it is counting down. That is a number that we call frames. It's really about how it packages the data. But depending on the amount of recordings you have on your SleepSat is how long it's going to take to download. So if you have 4 nights on a device compared to 1 night, it's going to take longer to count down for that 4 night. On that topic, the device does hold 70 hours of data. So that's 5 to 6 nights that it can hold before it needs cleared off for that patient. Just since I've got a couple more seconds, so another fact about the device is the device has a 20-hour battery life. What that means is if you're sending the device home really for more than 2 nights, we do recommend sending the entire case home with your patient so that they can charge it in between. And I'll be going into a few more of those details later when we go over the best practices document. But as you can see on this device, I've got an 8-hour and 45-minute study. Because this is a high resolution pulse oximeter and not an HST, this data does not yet have patient information attached to it. That's what we're going to do right now using the SatScreen Connection Center. So our patient here is named John Doe, and thankfully for me, he was born today, making it really easy to put in his birth date. So with the first name, last name, and birth date all entered, because there's only one study on this device, it is automatically checkmarked. If there was more than one study, you do need to go through and check all of the reports you would like to download. But again, first name, last name, birth date, the device that we want to, or the study that we want to download is checkmarked. And then here in the bottom right, we're going to hit Start Downloads. We're going to go over what that View All Reports button does here in a second. But once we hit Start Downloads, as you can see, it now says uploading EDF to server. And then rather quickly, you should see it change to downloading PDF. If you checkmarked multiple reports, you're going to see it go through uploading EDF to server, downloading PDF progressively. So once one is done, it'll then move on to the next. So if you're not immediately seeing all the reports that you checkmarked when you hit Start Download, just give it another minute. Your next report should be up. Just a little note, a decent amount of my bandwidth is being taken up by Zoom. So the download process is going to take a little bit longer for me than it's going to take for your office. Your office has faster internet. So just while I'm waiting for that to get done, in the case that you did not see this study come up, you connected the device and it no longer says waiting for, well, 1 second. It no longer says waiting for device not connected, but you're not seeing any reports here. I would encourage you to go to Show All Recordings and get a good idea of what's going on with the device. If you only see a couple seconds, more than likely the probe just came off of your patient's finger and that's what happened there. But that can be a great way to figure out what's going on with your device if you're not immediately seeing a study. But my study did come up. And like I said, we're not going to be going over the report today. We will be having a report specific webinar on the 17th, and I really do encourage you to sign up and attend that. But I'm actually going to go ahead and close out this report. I don't need to bother saving it anywhere because it's automatically uploaded and saved on our SatCloud web portal. But before I go to the SatCloud web portal, I do want to show you how to prep the device for your next patient. How we're going to do that is first, we do recommend only having one patient on the device at a time. So to do that, once you've downloaded your recording, hit Clear Device Recordings. It's then going to ask you to confirm that you want to clear it. I'm actually going to hit cancel because this is one of my demo devices, but you'll just hit OK, and then it'll ask for confirmation. And the way that I can show you what it'll look like is I recommend hitting Set Device Clock when you connect the device. It's just a really easy way to confirm that when you pass the device out next time, the device clock is going to be right. So I'm just going to hit OK on that. It's going to take about 3 seconds. But once it's done, I just hit OK again, and the device clock is set. But at this point, that device is ready for the next patient for you. At this point, I want to move on to the View All Reports button. If I click that, that'll bring you either already logged in, or it'll just ask you to log in to your account. So here we've got our SatCloud web portal. And the first screen you're going to see is the patient screen. This has every single patient that you've ever downloaded on it. And you may not see your patient immediately. You may need to tab through. This is a demo account, so there's not as many patients on it, but a really easy way is to just search your patient's first name or last name. So search for John. Our John was born on December 8th. So I can click that button. And then what I can do here is I can change any of John's patient data. Maybe I entered his birth date wrong. Maybe his birth date was actually yesterday, so December 7th. I can just hit the blue pencil icon up here, make my changes, and then hit the green save button. Once those changes are saved successfully, all you need to do is hit this generate report button, and that new patient data will be on your report. Once this finishes spinning, you hit the download PDF button and you've got your new report. Another feature that I want to show you that's within this patient account view, but it doesn't work if there's only one report, would be, let's go, I believe this one does? No. Here we go. So other John Doe, I may have done this a time or two, has more than one report. And as you can see here, this is when our multi-night reporting feature really shines, especially for titration. Let's say that we set a baseline here on August 15th, and then progressively titrated until we got John to a better point. Not only do you have this multi-night dashboard right here, you can hit this multi-night PDF button, and then instead of having to hold up multiple reports, you're comparing the pattern-based report, one in your left hand, one in your right hand. That multi-night PDF button makes it super easy to show your patient their improvement, or possibly getting worse, on one document that's super easy to understand. So some other features of the SatCloud web portal is also a reporting or reports tab. And this has every report you've ever downloaded in chronological order of the day it was recorded. So you can see here, this John Doe recording, while we uploaded it on the 8th, it was actually recorded on the 4th. So that's just the order that it is displayed in. And obviously you can tab through and go all the way back to the first report you ever downloaded. You can also make changes to your profile using the profile tab. That involves hitting, again, this blue pencil button, making the changes to your account. You can even change your password, and then again, hitting this green save button. I'm not going to any changes, so I'm just going to hit the red button. Here we have our report alert settings. And I didn't highlight this, and I should go back because this is an awesome feature that can be really useful for just getting a good idea of what's going on with your patient in a really fast pace. We have 3 alerts. So this yellow is mild risk of OSA. The red not filled in is moderate. And this red will be, or the filled in red will be severe risk. All of these can be modified using that settings menu under profile. But if you would like to look at it, there are default like low alert threshold, moderate alert, and there's this little eye icon that can explain why those default thresholds are the way that they are, including some other documentation. To move on, you can also make changes to your subscription here. So if you'd like to add a new payment method, you can just hit this blue plus sign, add your card information. And then if you have multiple subscriptions and you would like to change the payment method they're associated with, you can use this drop-down menu right here. Again, demo account, there's nothing associated with it, but on your account, you will see your card listed here and all of your subscriptions. Another great feature, second to last one, is let's say you would like your staff or office manager to have their own account. What you can do is enter their first name, last name, and their email and hit invite user, and that will bring them in like this test user email. And you can change their permissions on that account using this drop down. Member means that they can have upload access and means that they can view reports, but it means that they can't make any changes to the profile. Admin, you can do all of those things. And lastly, I want to highlight how we have all of our videos here, or a video tour of the web portal in the web portal. So if you have any questions about how to use this section of our offering, please visit the video tour area. More than likely your question is answered there. But that is it for the SatCloud web portal section. I would like to go over the patient video. I'm actually going to increase the speed of this. We do recommend having your patient watch this patient instructional video with you in the office. We recommend having them watch it and then demonstrate it back to you. That quick learn and then demonstrate really increases the success rate with patients, just because anything that they could be doing wrong, you have the ability to correct right then and there. So again, please note, this is being watched quite a bit faster than you will with your patient, but it can be a great tool for you.
An oximetry test has been ordered by your clinician to monitor your oxygen levels and heart rate while you sleep. There is no alarm on the SleepSat device, and it is not intended for real-time monitoring. For best results, remove nail polish. Avoid laying on the hand with the sensor, putting it above your head, or tucking it underneath a pillow. Turn the oximeter on only when you're in bed and ready to fall asleep. If the finger sensor irritates your finger, switch to a different finger. Charge device fully between nights. To begin, take out the patient instructions, finger sensor, and the SleepSat device. Remove your watch and any jewelry you are wearing as well. When you're ready to fall asleep, step 1, plug finger sensor into SleepSat wrist unit.
All right, I do want to highlight this. It can be a little bit hard to see, but there is a notch on the top of the finger sensor plug, or sorry, a bump on the top of the finger sensor plug and a notch on the top of the plug for the port on the SleepSat. What that means is there is a singular orientation for the port to be, or the plug to be put in. So the cable should be going to the right of the unit. Not often do we get that question, but it
Step 2,
comes up.
Put wristband on your non-dominant arm. Adjust to fit. Step 3, insert one of your fingers into the sensor. Make sure your finger is inserted completely. Your fingertip should touch the end of the sensor.
All right, I do just want to pause, and your finger should be touching this little bump of silicone. It should not be folding it over, and your finger should not be floating in the middle of the probe, just barely touching this bump of silicone.
Step 4, press N on the power button firmly until the display lights up. Lie still for 2 minutes before falling asleep. If the finger sensor comes off or is removed during the night, or if the wrist unit continually flashes send off, put the sensor back on, making sure your finger is inserted completely. Press the power button firmly until the display lights up. Step 5, in the morning, take the oximeter off. The oximeter will turn off automatically after 2 minutes. If testing multiple nights, return the fingers.
All right. The rest of that goes through just the process of bringing the unit back. I have overrun a little bit, but I do want to go through the best practices document and then again review Daphne a little bit and some of the features it offers. So we already talked about charging. We do recommend that the SleepSat is fully charged before administered. What that means is charging it at least 4 hours using the wall outlet option with the wall plug included. And if the patient is taking it home for multiple nights, A really easy way to guarantee that the device comes back to you charged is just to have them charge it after every night. We already went through the patient video. I would either recommend going through that patient video or going through the patient instructions included in the case, just to confirm that they fully understand what is being asked of them when they're wearing this unit. Cleaning's come up quite a bit lately. We do recommend using 70% isopropyl alcohol wipes or the solution with a rag to clean everything in the unit. I bring this up because the use of non-approved cleaners, including some very, very popular household cleaners, not only can break down some of the device body, but it can start to wear on that probe quite a bit faster than the approved cleaners. There is some other troubleshooting on this best practices document. I do recommend going through it. Again, that can be found. I come back here to the main page. It can be found under the SleepSat FAQ and troubleshooting option right here at the top, SleepSat best practices. Before I go to the question portion of this or Q&A, I do want to highlight our new software, Daphne. Daphne is an amazing sleep apnea screening program specifically aimed at dental clinics. What Daphne does is it tracks the entire sleep treatment process for your office. It will handle sending a sleepiness assessment to your patient via text or email. And that text can be customized to your office. So once they finish that assessment, it automatically comes back into Daphne. If that sleep assessment is positive, it encourages you to do a dental assessment the next time they're in the chair. If that dental assessment comes back positive, it then pushes you through to do sleep screening with the SleepSat device. That sleep screening that you do is, again, automatically brought into Daphne once you do the upload. Once you have that body of information, and if they've continued to show signs or risk of OSA, it will then encourage you to either, if you're in a state that you can order an HST as a dental clinic, then you can order an HST for your patient or home sleep test for your patient from Daphne. Or if you're in here in Ohio, we do require a MD to order an HST. So Daphne allows you to print out that body of evidence that they're at risk for a OSA and have them take it to their primary care physician to get that signed off on and have them move forward through treatment and not have them hit a roadblock at that point. Once those HST results are back, those could be uploaded into Daphne as well and continue to track them through the oral appliance treatment portion of sleep treatment. If you have any interest in Daphne, please reach out to our support line. I'd love to hop on a 10-15 minute call going through a full example of how Daphne can work and how it can really help in your office in improving the process of sleep treatment. So that's actually the end of the material that I've prepared for this webinar. If you have any questions, if you have any questions, please either put them in the chat or raise your hand and we can unmute you. Amy did have some good points. And I should go back and highlight those. How the valid recording time can be a high-risk notification. If the valid recording time is under 4 hours, we do mark that just as a reminder that you may need to go to other bodies of evidence, so other reports that you have for them to get a good look at what's going on with this patient. So because this Frank Day report has less than 4 hours, we would want to go look at other reports that have been uploaded for that patient to get a good look there. Dr. Dr. Brian Chris asked, do you have a recommended protocol for titrating oral appliances? We do not have a default recommendation. There are some methods that have been tried and relatively true of either setting a baseline with the device, with the SleepSat and not, oh, actually, if Amy is able to answer this in a more concise way.
Hello. Yes. So to answer the question, do we have a recommended protocol for titrating oral appliances? We do not. However, there are two common routes that offices will typically take to do titrations. The two that I hear about most are one that's kind of considered a fast track titration, where if the patient has come back with a positive diagnosis for obstructive sleep apnea, the office may send the patient home with the oral appliance and have them, after they've had a week or two to adjust to the device, test multiple nights at different titration settings. So they may do perhaps a baseline first, titrate out slightly, record another test, titrate out slightly, record another test, and so on. And then look at that body of data when the patient brings back the oximeter. Typically, that can vary somewhere between 3 and 5 nights in that situation. The other pretty common protocol that we see and does require more visits, but can sometimes be a little bit more comfortable for the patient, is to, again, get a baseline diagnostic, not baseline diagnostic, but a baseline screening when you send the patient home with the device. And then subjectively have the patient titrate out the oral appliance. Once they're comfortable and their subjective symptoms have disappeared, then they may send them back to do an objective measurement with the SleepSat device for, say, 2 nights to see if that has resolved any types of apnea events. If not, they may continue to titrate a little bit more and then send the patient home with the SleepSat device again to measure that. So those are the two most common. Again, the fast titration where you're trying multiple settings over a series of nights in a short time period, or subjectively titrating, getting a baseline to set kind of a standard, and then doing titration as needed from that point.
Awesome. Thank you, Amy. That was much better than I would have done.
My pleasure.
I have another question on can we get more copies of the sleep study insert that came originally? So that, I believe that you're talking about the patient guide. And if you're not, please let me know. But if you're talking about the SleepSat patient guide, that can actually be found really easily using the sleepsat.com/patient video under here where it says click here to download. That'll bring up the patient guide that's printable at that point. But I'm not seeing any other questions flow through. Thank you so much all for, oh, go ahead.
I'm not sure if you see, I do see a few other questions that come up here. What is the best way to get in touch if we have questions or problems with the device? And that's from Dr. Keith.
Oops, I'm not seeing those. But so the best way to get in touch with us is either support at Patient Safety Inc., which will be sending you all an email with a recording of today's webinar, or reaching out via phone using the toll-free number 888-666-0635. Again, that number is 888-666-0635. And all of this information is going to be on an email to all of our participants today. If you use the extension 505, that'll forward directly to me, and we can work through your problem pretty quickly. and try and get you up and running or just answer your question.
And also, I believe that information is on our website at sleepsat.com or patientsafetyinc.com, either website. The number and contact information is there as well. And okay, that answers, I believe, that question. I see another question from Jessica Turner. Is there an easy way to look up a patient ID on the download screen? So, and I believe this is related to looking up the patient download in the Connection Center application.
So at that point, there is not going based only off of the patient ID. There's not a way to search, but if you can search using either their first name, last name, or a combination of the two.
And we are, just so that you know as well, Jessica, we are coming out with a beta version of the Connection Center relatively soon that will have a quick lookup feature for patients. That beta download will be available, I would expect, within the next month. So that should, I believe, answer some of the questions or make it easier to look up an existing patient in the system for downloading new studies. Okay, and let me just check here and see. Okay, I believe that answers. And again, Heath, I think the last question was, can you tell us where we can find the patient video?
Oh, yeah. So the patient video can be accessed using the resource page, or a faster way to find it is sleepsat.com/patient video.
All right, great. Thank you so much.
All right. Thank you all so much for attending. Again, I am going to be sending out a recording of today's session to all of our participants. There will also be a short survey. If there's anything that we didn't go over that you thought that we should have, please let us know. And the last little commercial I have is, again, if you've not already signed up for our 17th or December 17th report seminar or webinar, please do so. I really do think it can be a hugely helpful resource for better understanding those reports. But seeing no other questions, again, thank you so much for attending. You all have a wonderful day.